So I can.
You're not supposed to speak before we start, James. For God's sake. Right, hello guys, welcome to Shooting the Shit with Ollie and Rich.
I'm Ollie.
And I'm Rich.
And it's a very special episode number 21. So with us we're joined by a good friend, close friend, very dear friend, James.
Hello, Ron.
And I'm not going to get him to tell us about himself because last time he did it was really boring.
I'm
just going to jump straight into
let's shoot the shit.
So, yeah, this is the second time I've done this, but let's start the show about talking about Caitlyn Jenner.
What about her?
She's won Woman of the Year, Glamour magazine. There's a bit of controversy surrounding it because a previous recipient of it was
I guess quite controversial in the first place.
Moira Smith, is it?
In America.
Well, I think
9/11 responder.
I think when you asked me about it, I might have got the wrong person. But anyway,
I can find out. 1 second.
What was she known
Yeah, it was
for?
Moira Smith. So yeah, it's one of the first responders from 9/11. She died whilst, helping individuals.
She's very undeniably important.
So yeah, she's been given the award previously, and her husband has returned the award since hearing that Caitlyn Jenner has been awarded with it.
Okay.
I personally think, one must not compare you can't compare struggles. Like, Caitlyn Jenner, fair enough.
I'm not sure this is entirely an issue of comparing struggles.
I think what she's done is commendable. To come out from that spotlight of being Bruce Jenner, spawning Kylie Jenner and, Kendall Jenner, two fit Jenners.
Now you're comparing struggles, right?
And being, no, I'm saying, like, she has had a struggle. To leave that limelight and then basically say, like, look, guys, I've been struggling since I've been this age.
Okay.
And I'm actually a woman.
Right,
She transitioned from Bruce to Caitlyn. No, that's pretty tough.
So I think if their aim was is their aim to presumably say, well, the transgender movement is gaining momentum and we'd like to recognise that with our award? Is that what they're doing?
I personally think that's probably what they're doing.
So, but the problem with that is it's sort of slightly undermined by having a Glamour magazine attribute a Woman of the Year award, isn't it?
Mm.
As in, it's all conforming to the stereotypes that movement's trying to neglect anyway, isn't it?
So?
Well, I mean, even if you were going to recognise sort of a movement in trans rights, then at the end of the day there are probably more suitable candidates to pick for Woman of the Year in that field, people who are actually activists and stuff. I mean, because you say she's had a struggle, she's had it a lot easier than most people transitioning have had. She's rich, she's famous, people constantly want to film her and broadcast them on TV, her family.
That's comparing a struggle there, though.
Well, we're comparing a struggle because it's an award. You can't attribute an award without comparing a struggle.
That's...
It's like saying, oh, we've got to win a competition here, but we're not allowed to play anything off against each other.
Fair enough.
So you think it's...
I think it's just
right
that she's got that. Like other people, other individuals like Rose McGowan, who's, the fit one in Charmed.
Lead.
Yeah. She has basically come out and said that she's upset with the award being awarded to Caitlyn Jenner, basically because she's she hasn't had to live that life of a woman, I'm guessing, and basically she needs to understand.
Well, what did
that
she actually? I mean,
she.
You might be putting words in her mouth there.
No, she did say that.
What specifically?
No,
you don't know a woman's troubles.
Well, basically, she says, until she understands that the hardships of being a woman are more than the issue of deciding what to wear.
Oof.
So, me paraphrasing made it sound a lot nicer than what she just said, I feel. But she's demeaning, the emotions that Caitlyn Jenner...
How is it demeaning?
Well, she's basically saying that she's not a woman.
Well, no, she's saying that she's recently become a woman.
But she's been a woman all of her life.
Well, started living as a woman then.
Okay. But she's I don't mean demeaning. I think she's
belittling.
Belittling. That's what I was looking for. And it's being a bit condescending as well. Like, I'm sure Caitlyn Jenner, knows that being a woman's more than, oh shit, I'm gonna wear like a nice little pretty dress.
Also, I mean, you have to be very careful before you throw stones, right? I mean, the person who's saying this is also probably famous and all that kind of stuff.
She is.
Right? What, she's the fit one from Charmed?
She's the fit one from Charmed.
There you go.
Paige.
She's not exactly an
Paige
authority
Halliwell.
on women's struggles, is she?
No. Exactly. But then I got this information from Huffington Post, my reliable source. They were saying basically that these awards actually provide the opportunity, for us to recognise individuals that, are not in the limelight and what they're trying to promote, and basically saying that, individuals that are, as you've said previously, activists, it's giving them the opportunity, and you could be shining a light on the work that they're doing.
Well, yeah,
But I do think the transgender,
I'd agree with that.
is a valuable, and it's, furthering their movement.
Well,
Not movement, but, it's helping.
is a
basically,
personable, is a perfectly reasonable sort of thing to award it for, is, activism in that area. But again, it's a question of how much Caitlyn Jenner has actually done. Dare I also say it? Didn't she earlier this year kill a person
Nope,
in a car?
she's not been charged with murder. You cannot say that.
Well, no. Not being charged with
Allegedly.
murder. Well, no.
She's under suspicion of killing someone.
Okay, that's
I thought, was there not video footage of her running into someone in a car?
I thought she was escaped those charges there.
Well, not being charged isn't the same as not having done it.
In the eyes of the law, she's not a criminal.
Still, they could have waited a year though, couldn't they? Until they
Yeah,
gave
but
it
then
back.
it would have, it hit whilst the iron's hot.
Do you think Caitlyn Jenner's struggle is comparable to the 9/11?
Well, the woman's dead. Obviously not.
That is quite a struggle, I guess.
Yeah.
Being dead.
Let's move on from that.
On that cheery note.
Yeah. So another thing that I found while searching on Huffington Post
Right, yeah.
was in Ottawa University, or the University of Ottawa, they have banned yoga classes because of individuals complaining that it is cultural appropriation.
Who?
Who complained?
Yeah,
Some of
that's
the
what I wanted.
students.
Which students were they? I mean, what yoga is that? Purely Indian, Hindu? What is it in origin? I don't know.
It's Hindu.
I'm not
It's Buddhist.
conflating Hindu.
It's Buddhist.
It's a Buddhist tradition
Yeah.
and Hindu.
And I think it was the direct translation is like spiritual act or something like that. Spiritual, yeah.
I feel like cultural appropriation is one of those phrases which doesn't help. Like as in it just confuses what you're actually talking about, right? Like no one knows what appropriation means.
Well, I don't know, it sort of completely ignores how culture works, really. Sort of the constant flow and exchange of ideas. I mean, a culture at the end of the day is not a tangible thing, is it?
Yeah, it's
It's just an overlap of different ideas and traditions in a given area at a given time. Like, it's constantly in flux.
exactly.
To believe in cultural appropriation, it requires the same sort of approach to culture as right-wing nationalism, basically, where you view cultures as isolated things meant for certain people, and they need to be contained in their areas and amongst certain people based on how they look or their ancestry. I don't know.
dangerous thinking like that.
It is, I think.
Now look at the British culture. We're a hodgepodge of everything.
Hodgepodge.
We're not a defined, single. Like you shouldn't form barriers for individuals. It's not good.
Well, basically, if everyone did that right, we wouldn't have any of the great art, music, film movements that we have, because they normally you nick different bits of influence from loads of different areas, right?
Yeah. Well, basically, the leader of this class, Jennifer Schaaf. Oh, what was her name?
Sharp.
Basically says people are looking for any reason to be offended, or for a reason to be offended, which I agree with.
I think it's true. Yeah.
like we've like gained this whole, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Thing.
This thing where, you know, we just want to bitch and be bitches and mitches and shit.
I know it was Canada, right? This,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a sort of I don't know, American-centric thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, I don't know, British people are a bit more kind of get on with it. Like you can look for stuff to be offended constantly if you really, really want to, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like no one really actually, as in no one from the actual group that are supposed to be culturally appropriated, that's a word, actually get offended by this, presumably, because they're probably just happy that their culture is being like celebrated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because like, a couple months back now, we talked about how at the Freshers' Fair, the Students' Union, I think it was Warwick, they banned sombreros.
Oh yeah.
And you know, the local Mexican group, or the Mexican Association of Britain, they came out and they're like, oh, we thought it was sort of like a fun way of spreading our culture and food, which is kind of what we're all about. We kind of like people to recognise our culture and a bit of our homeland and our tradition here in this country where we are now living.
Well, I mean, so if someone dressed as a British person, we'd probably expect them to, I don't know, wear something like vaguely old-fashioned and drink tea and eat scones, right? I wouldn't consider that an insult to being British. It'd just be like,
what if someone else was eating scones and
I know it's not always like as simple as that, but I think in this case it probably is, right?
This is actually quite profound thought I've had.
Okay.
So, is that...
That's for us to judge, isn't it?
Cultural appropriation is like, we only find that when it suits us. So this is one example. That, say for example, like we've got influx of like people from like Muslim countries, you know, they're wearing like their traditional clothing. Some British people from here want them to be wearing British clothes. Like, why can they not stop wearing all of that shit? Is that not cultural appropriation? Like, we only like flag it up for stupid reasons, but then, you know.
What you mean, the British people saying that to? Yeah,
to the Muslim individuals. Like, I think that's, you know, cultural appropriation when it suits us, but you know.
Yeah, we're like, if you come here, you have to adopt our culture. But
in its entire, well, there are certain things which aren't really hugely negotiable, like freedom of expression and
don't be a dick.
Freedom of association, things like that. You know, freedoms.
Yeah, freedoms are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that.
Definitely. So basically,
put that to bed.
This the classes, the president, or the student federation president, Romeo, I don't even know how to say his name, so I'm not going to try and say it. Oh no, I can say it. Hemakin.
Okay.
I apologise if you ever listen to this, which I doubt you will. Defended this decision to place classes on a hiatus while students were consulted, basically saying, we are trying to have those sessions done in a way in which students are aware of where the spiritual and cultural aspects come from, so that these sessions are done in a respectful manner. Which to an extent he does have a point, because there's a mass outrage. There's like basically been concerns over the commercialization of yoga. You know, it's losing its meaning, because, you know, it's attached to so many different faiths, and you know, its direct translation is spiritual discipline. So it's like Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Yeah.
Well, that's a problem with lots of things when you sort of put it in a capitalist society, tear it down. Well, it's just going to be. We live in a society where you need money. Everything's just commercialised.
Do you think there's ever going to be a day?
And I don't believe it doesn't happen in India either. Like, there aren't sort of faux swamis and yoga masters and whatnot just making
faux swamis,
making, you know, serious dollar.
The dollar.
Yeah, I mean, how much money do you have to make? How many rupees do you have to make before it's commercialised? 7.
Well, no, I'm not going to give you an arbitrary limit.
I don't know how much you read.
It's an unfortunate truth of, just the world in which
It's
we live.
inevitable, yeah.
Oh, actually, I've read further down here into this intriguing article.
Impeccably researched.
Reading on the fly.
Is that one
This has
Oscar?
basically just become, guys, I found an article, I'm going to read this now.
It makes it kind of an interesting study because we only find out more information as we get later on in the show. So we're sort of going through the
like
discussions that people do in the pub.
It's almost like a puzzle.
Yeah.
No, it's like a proper like news show. Think about like
breaking news.
Exactly. Basically, one Oxford student has defended the classes, saying, "I am still of the opinion that a single complaint does not outweigh all of the good that these classes have done."
Was it only one
I
complaint?
believe it was just one. I apologise for saying.
How
it.
many students at this university?
One.
I don't know. I'm not in Canada. That's really
If you just want to keep reading through the article, mate, it might have it.
It doesn't say how many.
I mean, after one complaint, you should just be like, well, I feel like if we do anything interesting, then we'll get a complaint.
Yeah.
So one complaint should be like, oh, we must be doing something interesting then.
Yeah.
Because if you don't offend anyone, then it's probably a bit middle of the road, isn't it? Like Coldplay.
Ooh, sending shots fired.
Well, it doesn't need to be Coldplay. Embrace, remember them? They were pretty big.
No.
I've
I
never heard
don't.
of them.
Right.
Sorry.
It's not really relevant, but you get my point.
I would agree, Coldplay, please.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, I found out the student population.
Oh.
Oh, that's 2013's thing.
No, it'll give us a
sorry.
rough estimate.
42,587 individuals.
Shit, one person out of all those people, they listened to him.
Wow.
What is this nonsense? Did he have a petition?
No, I just think he complained.
Could be an woman. Or do we know who it was?
No, we don't know who it was.
Yeah, no, it could have been.
Yeah. Right, sweet. Should we get into the main meat of the show?
What's that?
Well,
Ollie's going to talk about that.
yeah, no, it's just... Have you been watching, following Shia LaBeouf and his crazed antics recently?
I haven't, so I can be a... I don't know.
Not even necessarily that
Yes.
recently, but over the last few years he's gone sort of all
Ape show.
full on with the conceptual art and shit.
Yeah.
Like, he posted all those videos of him screaming, "Do it," in front of a green screen, and
Do it!
Yeah, that was pretty good. He appeared in a Sigur Rós video, that was good.
his most
And
recent
he appeared
thing...
in... What was it? Nymphomaniac?
Ooh,
I've not watched
that's
that
a
yet.
sexy film. It wasn't sexy, but there was a lot of sex in there.
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't seen it.
That
but-
should have actual.
I hear
images
it's
on screen.
pretty explicit.
Ooh.
Yeah, he fucks a lot, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's an awesome
I haven't
job.
seen it, but that's why I'm
You're not like a porn star.
I don't think
Well,
his
actor.
scenes were necessarily...
Oh, maybe he doesn't.
There was
I
probably
don't
body
wanna-
doubles,
Oh.
perhaps.
I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, it's
I,
about
don't know, I feel like it was pretty raw, real.
Pretty real.
Yeah.
You
What,
could
a
tell
vagina?
this has been shot.
No,
so
I haven't
can
seen
look
it.
at the
That's what I keep saying.
pixels.
I'm just going on I'm going on press. Anyway, what's he done now?
Well, his most recent thing, I don't know if you saw it, was what was the formal name of it? Like
Hashtag all of my movies.
Yeah, basically sat in a theatre for a period of like 2 days or whatever.
72 hours.
That's
No, it's 3 days.
3 days,
Yeah.
and just watched all his films in
29.
reverse chronological order.
29 movies.
And then what happened?
That was it.
That
You
was
get
it.
to
It
watch-
was broadcast live. His face, his reaction as he was watching
Yeah.
the film for the full
So
72
for most
hours.
of it, was he just kind of sat there expressionless eating popcorn?
No. You get to see like.
Or was it like, no, God, no?
It was well, from what I've read, it was like a true emotional journey. Like you actually got to, get away from the theatrics that he's, the craziness that he's had, and you could actually see him as an actual person. You could relate to him.
What was
You've
his
read
first
one
film?
critic. Did you watch it yourself, Rich?
No.
He was in Holes, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was quite good.
You get to see the Even Stevens movie.
Ooh, don't know if I've seen that.
That's really good. But I read an article in which he had an interview after, so they detailed everything that happened in there, and he was very nervous beforehand because it's he's craving acceptance, It's like he was just so scared that people hated him, people actually got to go on this journey with him, and obviously there was one point where he actually did fall asleep, and it was sort of he said it wasn't because he was like tired, it was more that it was like he just realised how bad of a film he made. So
which one was that?
I think you're going to say it was the other way around, so that's fair play.
Yeah, no, you actually get to see, you know, how personable he is, I guess, to an extent.
So, would you consider that art?
Yeah.
James?
Sure.
It's performance art, wasn't it?
I think it's quite an original idea. So, an original idea gains it a lot more merit than the art that is allegedly out there everywhere. Because most of it is fairly derivative, right? So, that's pretty original.
Did you see that thing he did where he was broadcasting his heartbeat live on the internet? I'm sure of it. I had a look at it. There it was. I could see the beating of his heart.
Oh my gosh.
Was it tense? This could stop any second.
That would have been pretty awful to see. Actually visualise a dying man's heartbeat.
Yeah, that would have been.
But then I would probably assume at the time it was part of his performance.
I feel like that'd be like a David Blaine stunt. You know,
and you just stop it for like
because he's done stuff like that, right? Like slow his. Has he done that? Slow his heart down.
Maybe.
I think he has, right?
Yeah.
So you could do that, but like actually broadcast the beat on Reddit or something.
So do you consider it art?
Which one? The heartbeat?
Well, all of them.
Both of them, yeah.
There was another one where he ran around building a museum in Amsterdam where they were doing a 12-hour conference.
Yeah.
He, basically, it was supposed to parallel and mirror the marathon event that was occurring inside of this museum.
So there was an event on marathons?
No, it was sort of like a reflection on the fact that it was going to last for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like a 12-hour conference.
Shit.
And then he ran around this building, or the museum, for 144 laps.
That's a lot of running.
It is. Tense.
No, to answer your question, yeah, I do think it's art. I have quite loose definitions of art, I think.
I think people always ask the wrong question because they ask if it's art, and then I think basically anything is art if you're trying to do something creative. But the question you want to ask is it any good?
Ooh.
Right? Because you can have something can be really artistic and creative and original, but it doesn't make it good if you don't enjoy watching it or whatever. Still interesting, you still do it.
Would you not say maybe the value of art comes from sort of eliciting a response, whether or not it's good or bad?
So if you think it's terrible, oh, that's interesting. Dunno, like.
Well, because like, you know, for me personally, I kind of feel that sort of outright rejecting a piece of art almost validates in itself its status as art. The fact that someone be so outraged by something that you've expressed
if that's
or done.
If that's its aim, I think that's true. But like, I'm thinking of like shit pop music. That's not. That's not.
Is that art?
Well, but it makes me pretty outraged. So by your definition, that makes like take that. Well, not like fantastic art, but worthwhile art, right?
Gary Barlow is.
Well, I think this is where intent comes into it because it's not intended to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, for something to be art, I guess the sort of prime motive needs to, I guess, be to actually express and get someone to think and feel something, as opposed to just pumping out some, numbers and getting shitloads.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Just commercial.
We all think it's
easily
art,
accessible.
What about that one? There was one in the Tate Modern where it was just like a light switch that went on and off in a room. And that's art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't do anything for me personally. I thought it was quite bleak, but
I could see things and I couldn't see things.
Yeah. What about that's another classic sort of thing people get angry about, piece of conceptual art. Tracy Emin's Bed.
Unmade Bed.
Yeah.
Number 1 or something.
Yeah. Have you seen that, Rich?
No.
It's like a bed, but it's not made properly.
Okay.
It's like a bed that she'd slept in for 3 days, and there was sort of takeaway and fags and empty bottles of alcohol around it
Dead skin.
and period blood. I
Period
think.
blood? Oh,
Possibly,
that's-
or a menstrual product of some description.
That's fucking disgusting.
Menstrual
I
product.
can't believe you used that phrase.
That actually led to another thing that I wanted to talk about, actually. Do you remember, basically, in the House of Commons, they were arguing about tampons and stuff,
Yeah.
and the tax? There was
Suddenly
this-
very radical change of direction.
There was a protest on the streets of London with individuals who decided not to use their tampons and walked down there when they were on their menstrual cycle. And they were wearing their white pants, and you could see their period blood seeping into it.
That's fantastic.
And basically, they were just trying to, you know, obviously, I suppose, protest about the fact that, you know, this is considered a luxury item and is taxed in such a way when it's actually, you know, stopping unnecessary
Yeah, we know what it does.
Yeah.
blood.
We're quite familiar with menstrual products, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
So what do you think about that? Like, there's a lot of people saying
What,
it's
it's art?
disgusting. Well, yeah, I suppose.
Well, it is gross, but isn't that the point? Well, it's like you said, right? It's trying to provoke a response.
Yeah.
But it was. I think there's more meaningful. Taking away from the art, there's more meaningful ways of campaigning against, you know, the fact that it's a luxury item. Like you're
It's
making
high impact
you're
though. You saw
undermining
those
your argument.
pictures,
Yeah, we're
they
talking
were
about
shared
how
on
if you-
social
yeah.
media,
Uh-huh.
and now we're talking about it, so
So it works.
it's blown up.
It's just a bit grim.
But the fact that you think it's grim basically proves their point, doesn't it?
Well, it's not making me want to go to like the House of Commons and tell them that they should like take it off like the luxury item.
But
Would you
would
not
if- it
rather
would if they
encourage
did that
them
all
to
the
buy
time.
more
When-
products and then?
for women.
Well, yeah, because
Well,
they're
they should
expensive.
buy it. Yeah.
But that's their whole point. They're with you on that one.
Yeah.
They agree they should buy it, but they think that having it as a luxury item is slightly ridiculous, and they are right, because it's a
Okay.
bit stupid.
A condom's a luxury item.
And I think, yeah, they're taxed, aren't they?
Well then.
I hope they're not classed as a luxury item.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, yeah, but condoms
then,
aren't exactly a
then
male-only
ridiculous.
thing, are they?
No.
Okay.
Two people use a condom.
But we should go back to the art thing.
Would you say that was art though, or just protest? Or was protest
I think it's art. I think art has a very loose definition, so call it art if you want to. It's an artistic form of protest.
Wow.
It's slightly gross, but effective.
Even women, some women, were just like what the fuck are you doing? That's disgusting.
But they'll still be
It's
reaping,
unsanitary.
they're going to be reaping the rewards when they get 5p off their next tampon purchase.
Yeah. Well, I do find, like, one of the spokeswomen for the actual cause was saying, like, all those people saying that we're unsanitary and disgusting, we actually carry, like, a change of, like, clothes and, like, underwear, and it's supposed to reflect the disgusting nature of the fact that it's taxed in the first place. Which,
Yeah.
she's managed to do that.
I'd say it's an artistic political statement. I think it's. I mean, I find it kind of gross. I mean,
I guess an alternative conclusion is just that women are pretty gross.
I agree.
I mean, we don't do that, do we?
No.
bleed everywhere. Not usually.
Dude! That was sick.
I don't know really what I was saying, but yeah.
I don't think there was any substance to our point.
No.
Right, you mentioned David Blaine.
I did
A lo-
mention David Blake.
A lot of his things quite artistic in themselves, like him sitting in a fucking box right above the river and that. Would you say the magic's art?
Well, magic isn't a thing.
You know what I mean, you dickhead. Illusions then.
Oh, right.
Sleight of hand.
Just to be clear.
I'm quite aware,
yes,
thank
absolutely. Definitely an art.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's pretty skillful, isn't it?
Is that enough to make it an art, being skillful?
Skillful in it, it's constructed with like a creative element to be as like appealing as possible.
Because my point was, again, we were just talking about the intent, is magic done for purely entertainment purposes, not to necessarily invoke an emotional response? Bam.
Good point. I still think it's art though. I don't know. I just have a very loose definition. So anything that entertains you, and is
it's all
creative.
around us, everywhere. Sex is not.
Sorry.
Think about it, like if you're strong a woman with your tool, your instrument.
Did you say strumming a woman with your tool?
Poking a woman with your tool, like that.
It doesn't sound like art right now,
No.
but I agree it can be.
Exactly. Everything is art. We are art.
There we go. Everything is art.
We are art is
Souls.
us.
Hooray! Well,
That's a positive way of ending the show.
I did, indeed. Beautiful sentiment. Art is us. Right. That's enough of this shit now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've been shooting the shit. I've been I.
I've been Rich.
I've been James.
Goodbye.